Hey, Allison Verhalen here with AV Writing Services, and today I am talking about the do's and don'ts of marketing your business during a global pandemic. So you absolutely can and should keep marketing your business even while we're all stuck at home, even if your business is shut down full-time or part-time. You want to be front and center when things open up again. So you want to remain in front of your customers, stay top of mind with them, so that when we're all allowed to go outside again and they need whatever it is you're selling, you're going to be the first one that they think of. Your brand, your company is going to be front and center and top of mind for them. So that said, there's a right way and a wrong way to market yourself during this pandemic, especially if you're going to be talking about the pandemic, which you absolutely can. It's something we're all going through. It's something we can all relate to, but it's also a very serious topic and a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. So, like I said, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So we're going to lay it out for you what you should and should not do. So we're going to start with the do's. Keep it light. Make fun of the situation, but only certain parts of the situation, right? Keep it light, but not too light. You can absolutely make fun of the struggles of staying at home and people going stir crazy and getting cabin fever and struggling with roommates and family members that they're suddenly spending 24/7 hours a day, 7 days a week with. That maybe they haven't done before, or the struggles of working from home. They've never worked from home before, and now they're working from home with their families, and and now they're homeschooling, and they've never done that before. So there are all these things that you can absolutely make fun of because they're not life-threatening. Do not make fun of people who are getting sick, people who are dying. Do not make fun of the coronavirus itself, the COVID-19. Do not make fun of people who are struggling with people who have loved ones who are sick and or dying. So don't touch that, but keep it light, and don't make fun of people who are losing their jobs. I mean, working from home is one thing, but if people are stuck home because they can't go to work and they don't know how they're going to pay their bills, that's not very funny. And there's really no way to make it funny. And even if you do find a way to make it funny, you're going to end up offending a lot of people, and it's just not cool. So don't do that. But there are certain aspects of what we're going through right now that you absolutely can make fun of. Make fun of what it's like to be on Zoom. Make fun of people trying to look like an influencer all of a sudden while they're on Zoom calls as they set their office and beautify their walls and get the professional lighting and all of the things that they've never had before that suddenly they feel like they need to have to make it look like they just rolled out of bed this way. Make fun of the fact that we're all wearing shirts, but a lot of people are not wearing pants, and that's cool. But like I said, don't make fun of the really serious aspects of this, because there are a lot, literally millions of people who are really, really hurting because of what's going on. So stay away from those subjects. Should be a no-brainer, but you might be surprised how many people miss out on that. So the next do is to update your marketing and advertising efforts. So if you have a lot of like billboards and signage and advertisements on buses and bus stops and no one's going out right now, you might want to cancel those efforts. You should absolutely have stuff online. If you don't, now's the time to start. But maybe while you're canceling your physical advertising, you want to invest those dollars into online advertising instead, which is cheaper. You tend to get in front of more eyeballs for less money. You don't have to pay for all the physical stuff that goes along with that. You just have to pay for your spot. And usually you only have to pay for the click. You don't have to pay for just showing up in front of people. You only pay once they click on your link or your ad. And then once they click through, then it's up to you to convert them into a customer. So it's usually much more cost effective to advertise online, so I would recommend it anyway. And especially now, everyone's online even more than they were before. I mean, people were getting more and more online as it was, and that trend just went through the roof in the past month or two. So really focus on those online marketing efforts. Next up is be uplifting. You can absolutely do the whole, we're gonna get through this, we got your back. If you can find a way to tie that into your products or services, that's even better. I was just watching an ad this morning that had that whole uplifting thing. And then at the very end, they threw their brand name up there. And I'm like, you did not work your brand into the advertisement. I remember the story, I don't remember the brand. So always take advantage of that story when you're marketing your business and your products and services, but you gotta work your brand into the story. They have to go hand in hand. Otherwise, they will remember the story. They'll think it's a great ad. They won't remember your brand. And then that's a waste of time and money for you. And that's time and money that you cannot afford to waste. So make sure that your brand is front and center throughout every part of that story, every plot point. But at the same time, you don't want to like beat them over the head with it. So be front and center, but not, looming over them going, remember my brand, because no one likes that either. There's a fine line that you have to walk. But just throwing your brand up at the very end, your logo or your company name or whatever, that's not going to do much because, again, they're going to remember the story. They're not going to remember your brand. You have to integrate your story or your products or services or how you're helping people, letting people know if you're donating, if you're making masks, if you're doing anything that is specific to helping people in need right now. Absolutely make that part of your marketing efforts. Let people know, because then that gives them a reason to buy from you. If they know that for every whatever they buy from you, another mask is going to get donated to people who need it, that's great. That gives them an incentive to buy from you instead of someone else. And that gives them an incentive to buy in the first place if they might not otherwise be motivated to buy. So absolutely take advantage of that. And then finally, the last do is be careful about keywords. Like I said, you absolutely can talk about the pandemic, the coronavirus, COVID-19, working from home, shelter in place. All that stuff is stuff that people are searching right now. So they're relevant keywords. And like I said, you can talk about it. But there are going to be bad actors who put a lot of misinformation out there, and they're going to use those keywords, and they are going to specifically target those keywords for people who are looking for information, and they're going to take advantage of that to lead people to stuff that's not so great. So A, you don't want to be associated with them, and B, Google's going to crack down on that, right? Google's still working. They're just all working from home. Their algorithm is still doing its thing. And they're going to be aware of that. They're going to know that people, because they see this every time, right? Every time something is trending, you're going to have those bad actors. And Google knows that. And Google has gotten really good at shutting those down. But sometimes Google overreaches a little. And sometimes anyone using a certain keyword gets shut down a little bit. I would also say be careful of using these hashtags on social media. Certain hashtags in the past on various social media platforms have been just canceled. Just like the post never shows up if you use that certain hashtag, because there are so many bad actors using that hashtag. So again, it's kind of a fine line. You want to show up in relevant searches, but you don't want to be collateral damage when those websites start shutting down the bad actors who are also using those keywords, those hashtags. So be really careful and always monitor your traffic, where people are coming from when they get to your website, how they're finding your website, what keywords they're using. Always be aware of that so that you can monitor it. And if you start using those keywords and you find that your website traffic is taking a hit, maybe back off a little bit. Maybe find other ways to talk about the pandemic. And if you don't want to talk about the pandemic at all, that's fine. That's totally up to you. But there is a right way and a wrong way to do it if you do decide to talk about it. So those are the do's. On to the don'ts. The first one I kind of covered already. Don't make fun of people who are really, really hurting right now, because again, there are a lot of people who are really hurting. I would also add, don't be political. Regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, if you want to blame one party or the other party or both parties, that's up to you. But remember, when you put that in your advertising efforts, when you make that public and align it with your brand, you risk alienating a whole bunch of people. And if you know that your customers tend to fall on one side of the political spectrum, then that's fine. There have been brands that have aligned their brand, their company, with a specific political party since at least 2020, if not before. And a lot of them have had success with that. And they tend to lose some customers, but also gain some customers. But other people have found that it just doesn't work. I would say as a blanket recommendation, just don't even go there. Just don't even touch that subject. Same with religion. Just don't even touch it. It's the two things that you never talk about, right? In polite conversation. I would say the same goes for your marketing. Don't ever talk about those two things in your marketing because they're so polarizing and people have very strong feelings about them. If you want to try, and if you think your audience tends to lean a certain way politically, the same way and that you lean, and you want to try that out, again, it's your business. You're free to do that. But if you alienate someone, the chances of them coming back are slim to none because, again, people have very strong feelings about this. So tread carefully. Next up on the don'ts list is don't give bad advice, right? And if you have something old that you have great advice for a few months ago, but now maybe it rings a little bit differently, maybe you want to cancel that advertisement. There's an ad that a cold and flu medicine company created last summer that was fine for the summer. It said it was all about how you can take this medicine and go back to work even when you're not feeling great because it helps suppress those symptoms, but it doesn't make you not contagious. And again, that ad was fine last summer, but now that we're all being told, if you don't feel well, stay home. And let me reiterate that, if you don't feel well, stay home. Do not take medicine to go out in public where you can possibly infect other people, whether you have COVID-19 or something else. Just don't do it. So they're still playing this ad, right? There are still some streaming services where if you're watching stuff, this ad will come up and it's bad. It looks really bad right now. So if you have anything like that maybe is seen in a whole different light now than it was when you created the ad, just shut it down. You can hang on to it for later after we've gotten through all of this and we're back out in the world hanging out with each other and we're allowed to high five and hug and kiss and all that. So, but in the meantime, maybe just put that particular ad on the back burner. And finally, don't give misinformation. And I know this is really hard because the information keeps changing. So be really careful about who you're getting your information from. Make sure that you trust them implicitly and that they know what they're doing and they know what they're talking about and they're backing up their information with sources, with really good, reliable sources and really good, reliable data. That said, even the experts get it wrong. You know, at first we were told we don't have to bother wearing masks, and now everyone is wearing masks outside, and we are being told by the experts that we should wear masks when we go outside. So if you have information, the bright side of online marketing is that it's really easy to update, right? If you put something in your content saying, this is what's happening with COVID-19, so you don't have to worry about this, or you should worry about this, but then it turns out we don't have to worry about it, you can always update it. And I would say go in as soon as you can, as soon as you get that update, and change that information in your content marketing. I saw this because I'm a pet owner, and we were told up until like yesterday that pets can't get the coronavirus, that they're completely safe. And now cats are getting the coronavirus, and now they are starting to say, maybe don't bring your dog to the dog park. Maybe don't let people pet your dog. So we're constantly getting new information. Things are getting updated. Take it all in stride and update your content accordingly. So that is it. Those are our tips today for the do's and don'ts of content marketing during a pandemic. Again, my name is Allison Verhalen. I am with AV Writing Services. You can reach us at avwritingservices.com if you have any questions about content marketing now or whenever. You can reach us directly at info@avwritingservices.com. Otherwise, have a great week. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you next week.